You're watching WECT News at 6.
Their mere existence can only be described as a miracle. Premature babies cling to life the moment they come out of the womb. The hidden heroes that keep them alive don't get the recognition they so often deserve until tonight. WECT's Connor Del Preet spent months learning how NICU nurses serve as a lifeline for these tiniest bundles of joy. But Connor, they also have to cope with an emotional roller coaster each and every day.
You'd be hard-pressed to find a job with the highs and lows of NICU nurses. One moment, it's the happiest moment in a family's life. The next, their whole world crashes down around them. There's so many battles these families take on. The little ones have to fight for their lives. The mothers often forced to push away that sinking feeling that they did something wrong. So they need consistency here, and that's where the nurses step in. They care for these kids, make sure the parents are all right, and the nurses you're about to meet develop deep, strong bonds with these families. And they last well beyond these NICU walls.
Nobody anticipates that they're going to be in the NICU. You're wheeled out of the hospital empty-handed. Your baby is in an intensive care unit in a bed.
Grab all your cords.
Taken care of completely by strangers. You go in thinking you're gonna save all these people.
So I just pull that out of his belly and then just refed it.
Sometimes the majority of your shift may be spent helping someone die.
It's scary when they get sicker. It's absolutely scary and heartbreaking.
But there are bad days. Sometimes I sit in the locker room for 10 minutes and cry my eyes out before I come home, just so I have a breath of fresh air. You have to separate work and home, or you'll bring it all home.
You're funny.
I know it is weird. I knew I was meant to be here when my kids came.
Can you give knuckles? Yeah, man. Can you give high five?
In that moment, I was no longer Stephanie the NICU nurse. I was Stephanie the NICU mom. Until you've put yourself in the car to go home without your baby in the car seat. Until you've walked into an empty house, into an empty nursery without a baby in the crib. You really don't understand what it is to be a NICU parent.
You're not gonna say hi, Mom, again.
I'm sad that my babies had to be there, but I'm grateful for my experience so that I can help moms and dads and families and babies in the future.
Say hi.
It provided me with a huge insight into the loss of control that parents experience.
They say you can go home and you don't have to take your baby home, you know, and your baby has to stay here pretty much. And that's hard, considering the fact that you just had something and you can't bring it with you.
I see all these other babies going home. Like his hall was almost empty where he's at now, and it's heartbreaking.
Can you change what happened in the past? No. Can you change the decisions that you made or didn't make? Can you change what your body did or did not do? No, you can't. Our goal in the NICU is to send baby home well baby, well family.
You go home and you're thinking about them and you're praying for them at night. Make it through the night, make it through the night. I'll be back in the morning. It was just a few weeks ago. I was crying on the way home. Like, I'm worried about my baby. But he's doing amazing now, you know.
And there are some that throw you for a loop that are just super, super sick, and Aurelio was one of them.
I get a call at 2:30 to get back over here that my son is just he's not getting any better. They come back and found out his intestines was twisted. They removed more of his small intestine and his right side of his colon. He died and they had to bring him back, and luckily the anesthesiologist was on top of it.
But this is where they went in. It's been an emotional roller coaster ride.
It's incredible. That's why we do this. He's a fighter, and both Dr. Weiner and I are, thrilled and a little bit amazed that he's done so well.
You become more like family and less like strangers.
There you go.
There we go. Here's the washcloth for her if she dribbles.
Yeah, I became a godmother here for the first time, It's pretty magical. The mom and dad saying, like, we know you love our baby. When you walk into the room, she hears your voice, you could tell she gets excited, and the parents said, I noticed that. We noticed that. You have to be a part of our lives.
If they're there, I'm more likely to go home because they know how she is.
What you doing?
These babies they're just miracles.
There they are. And you gave them a smile.
I mean, they're all just miracles. They're strong and they fight and they have a strong team behind them.
Whoa, where are you going? You wanted those cords?
And we never give up.
You are legit famous.
I was talking to the nurse Monica, who you just met earlier today, and she said amid Aurelio's long recovery, after dying on the operation table, being brought back to life, she lit a candle at the Basilica in France and said a prayer for him. Clearly, these are bonds that stretch cross-country and overseas. Nurses have pooled their money together just to buy car seats for families that need it. They hold reunions every year where 35-year-olds who spent time in the NICU make the trek back to Wilmington just to see these nurses. Certainly a long bond lasting well beyond these families leaving those NICU walls.